Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ainafarhana binti Md Nasir. My matric number 271250. The Great Wall of China is well known that is one of the World Heritage claimed by UN. The Great Wall was continuously built from the 3rd century BC to the 17th century AD on the northern border of the country as the great military defense project of successive Chinese empire with a total length of more than 20,000 kilometers. The Great Wall begins in the east of Shanhaiguan in Hebei province and ends at Jiayuguan in Gansu province to the west. Its main body consists of wall, horse track, watch tower and shelter on the wall and include fortresses and passes along the wall. They built wall to protect their territories from the outsider because there were no natural barrier between China and the north. Basically the area of Mongolia. Like the wall we see today, this wall didn't connect. They look more like a group of dots than a single line. That basically briefly about the Great Wall of China. However, my speech is about the Great Wall of China is a weakness, not a greatness. As I mentioned earlier, it's briefly history of Great Wall of China and it sounds beautiful, but my point here is a weakness. I will point 3 arguments which are Great Wall causes a lot, causes a lot of labor kill, cause an internal political conflict, and collapse the Ming dynasty. Okay, firstly, the construction of the wall led to hundreds of thousands of people died and make this wall called the longest tomb in the world. So the King Qin wanted to connect the wall when he took power in 221 BC. The strong wall should be built 30 feet wide and 50 feet high. In order for Qin to create such a large wall, many peasants who were captured or executed in China, and the criminal who does their crime were compelled to build it by hand. Workers were not paid, despite the fact that their occupation were extremely difficult. Obviously, it is difficult to build such a big wall, right? Okay, the construction of the wall was very hard and dangerous, and also those who work were only given enough food to stay alive. Workers will also often get hurt because of their job and killed by rock that fell onto them, and sometimes they were killed. People who worked there also died from sickness and also exhaustion. Many workers who died while building the Great Wall of China were simply put behind the wall, behind portion of the wall, rather than get buried in a cemetery or get buried at the cemetery. But they put the corpse behind the wall. So my next point is the wall divided between South China and North Mongolia causes people live all together in China without outsider and lead to an internal conflict on politics and poverty among the people led to rebellion. Okay, many peasants, those who were captured or executed, and criminals were forced to build the wall that I mentioned earlier. Despite the fact that their job was incredibly arduous, workers were not paid. So, in general, the Chinese people absorb the cost of the wall by paying higher taxes. They need to pay high taxes for the government get fund to build the wall, while the government also set aside fine gained from the sale of salt and also sale from iron monopolies to fund wall building. Beginning at 1640, a large group of Chinese peasants who were famished, unable to pay their taxes, and no longer fearful of the Chinese army, which had been repeatedly defeated, began to organize into massive band of rebels. So, amid unsuccessful effort to defeat the Manchu raid from the north and the massive peasant revolt across the country, the Chinese military, the one who works to the government, was forced to disintegrate almost completely. Okay, another point is my last point is the internal political conflict within China prompt to the downfall of Ming Dynasty. Okay, obviously there is no doubt that the fall of Ming Dynasty was caused by several other factors like the economic factors. However, one of the factors is because of the political conflict related to the issue of the Great Wall, the building of the Great Wall. The Ming Dynasty was fighting for its survival against fiscal turmoil and peasant rebellion. So, meanwhile, on the April 24, in 1644, Beijing was overrun by rebel army led by Li Zicheng, a former minor Ming official who rose to prominence as the leader of the peasant rebellion and subsequently established the Shan dynasty in the capital city. Because of the Li Zicheng action against him, the Ming general Wu Shangui decided to change sides and align himself with the Chinese Communist Party, well known as the CCP in China. Li Zicheng lost the battle of Shanghai Pass to the forces of Wu Shangui and the Manchu prince Dorgon. It happened on June 6. The Manchus and the Wu people come into the city and named the young Shunzi emperor as the new emperor of China. The last Ming emperor, known as the Chongzheng emperor, hanged himself on the tree in the imperial garden outside the Forbidden City. So basically, that's the point why I state that Great Wall of China scream a weakness. So as a conclusion, we can see that from a news perspective that the Great Wall of China definitely scream weaknesses rather than greatness, because there is no objection that the structure and architecture of the building of the wall is beautiful. It's wonderful because it's hard to build such a large wall. So, however, if you have power to direct and force millions of people to build it because you are the king, you have the power, then I don't think it is beautiful at all. It is no magical in it. You force people to do the job, so that's mean it is scream a sadness rather than greatness because you not being fair to your citizen, to your citizen, even though they are a criminal or the peasant or anything. It is not good to being dictator. I believe that all from Lee. Thank you.